the tit, the most unassuming of bird species. The tit is from a large family of small passerine birds which mainly occur in the northern hemisphere. Members of this family are commonly referred to as tits throughout much of the English-speaking world. These birds are mainly small, stocky, woodland species. Some have crests or beards. Just like another animal, the Alba commune pinae, they range from 4 to 8 inches. Many species live around human habitation and come readily for nuts or seed, and learn to take other foods. This message was presented by the DeWeather Institute for Climate Knowledge. The DeWeather Cares Knights Tits Kickball Tournament is coming this October and benefits 4 cancer-related charities. See DeWeather Center on Facebook for more information.
If there's one thing every car guy hates, it's cleaning the garage. Do you want to take most of the time and hassle out of that job? Then call Zone Garage of Eastern Pennsylvania and New Jersey. Agnes and her crew will have your garage, shop, basement, or even your porch looking great all the time. With unique patterns and designs, plus the ability to incorporate your logo or any artwork, your space will never have looked better. Installation is done in 1 day, guaranteed, and Zone Garage offers a 20-year warranty on the top coat. Their coatings are durable, anti-slipped, and impact resistant. Give them a call at 570-856-6067. That's 570-856-6067 for Zone Garage of Eastern Pennsylvania and New Jersey.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Sin City, Las Vegas, Nevada. Nellis Air Force Base sitting right outside the back straightaway, the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Tonight, the Grid Rival ESRA INDYCAR Series will wrap up their 2021 Season 2, crowning Matt Wagner as champion and some pretty good points battles back through the field. My name is Chris Graham with the National Racing Network. It is a pleasure to have you joining us here this evening. As always, well, most of the time anyway, joined in the booth by Mr. Patrick Byrne. And I'll tell you what here, Patrick, Las Vegas in the IndyCars is absolutely insane.
Yeah, I'm a little bit of a gambling man. Love Las Vegas, and I'm willing to bet they're going to put on a good show tonight.
We will see what's going to come here as we get ready for a 100 lap, 120 lap, whatever it is, race. This one's going to be pretty darn exciting, but first, we have a little bit of business to take care of here. Welcome into the booth, your 2021 Season 2 champion, Mr. Matt Wagner. Matt, congratulations on a well-earned championship here in the Grid Rival ESRA IndyCar Series.
I'd like to thank you very much, everybody. It's been a long journey. I have never won a points event in any league, and that's pretty proud. Pretty proud to represent these guys.
This is one of those deals where you've had to fight a variety of drivers over the course of the season. James Watson was incredibly strong early in the season. Mario Miranda has been fast and aggressive all year, both on ovals and road courses. Sebastian Kinder, Ty Richter, Alec Coates, you can go back through the top 10 or 15 drivers. Every one of them has put up a pretty decent fight at least some point this season.
Oh, yeah. You forgot to mention one driver on the road courses. That would be our very own. Let's see if I can remember his name. Julian Altina, he is phenomenal on the roads, and me trying to beat him on the road next season, because I will be running next season, will be I'll check mark that into my book.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, you had Julian, you had William Reinhard. We had several guys who were more of the road course specialists. You had some of the guys that were oval track specialists. The depth in this league is really pretty impressive.
No doubt. I love having Charles Teed by my side every time we run the oval side. Me and him run a lot together, and we share notes together, and it's paid off for both of us. We've been at the front about every oval race, and some things happen sometimes. We get and make dumb mistakes, and I have made plenty of mistakes, and it's been caught right on the NRN broadcast. So I'd rather not go there. Just speak of Milwaukee and Pocono, I'd rather not go anywhere. Let's keep it that way.
Well, what are your thoughts as we head into tonight's finale? Obviously, nobody can catch you in the points race. Is there a teammate you're looking to work with? What's the strategy or the thought process here? Are you going out to win this thing and put the big old cherry on top?
I have one specific goal, and I am not going to share that on the broadcast. I'm going to keep it to myself. You shall find out later. If I come out to the top 3, I will come out and say that. Hopefully, so you know what? I'm going to come out and say, I hope James Watson wins tonight. He needs to win, just to make all the critics, be quiet. You know what I mean? Because they've been busting in the chat, and I see the Watt spin and all that other good stuff, and hopefully him with getting a win tonight would stop all that, and prove him wrong.
All right, Matt. Well, thank you very much. Congratulations once again. We'll let you go qualify here. Hopefully we're talking to you again at the end of this thing.
Oh, yeah. See, Chris. Hopefully we'll talk to you then.
There you go. There is your season champion, Matt Wagner, and the aforementioned James Watson just getting out on the racetrack. Zach Evans also on the racetrack. One of the Team Watson Racing armada of race cars. I don't believe they have the team's championship locked up just yet. Currently leading over Team Ball Racing, Lights Out Esports, Team Watson San Jose, and Mediocre Motorsports, the top 5. Mario Miranda with a 35-point lead over James Watson for second in the point standings. Would take a pretty big deal for Watson and Miranda to swap places. Sebastian Kinder is currently 4th in points, but not entered in tonight's race. Hopefully Seb's getting to tune in here. Currently 5th in the points is Ty Richter, and he will overtake Sebastian Kinder for 4th, and Alec Coates tied with Zach Rinker for 6th, so a good battle for 5th in points here on the line. James Watson running those Sebastian Kinder colors makes his way off of turn 2 and down the back straightaway. Watson 25.05 was at the top of the charts. Now Zach Evans moves to the top 24.959. See what Watson's going to do across the start-finish line. Charles Teed goes top of the charts. Watson goes second quick. Picking up points, leader and series champion Matt Wagner in that number 11. We'll see these cars run from top to bottom in this one here tonight, Patrick. It should be pretty darn exciting.
Yeah, this is one of the great tracks IndyCar has, just because there's so many crews available. It's not single file, follow the leader. This is where you get that good old school pack racing around these IndyCar circuits. You're going to see these guys hanging at 3 wide, maybe even 4 wide if they get crazy enough.
Yeah, this 3 and 4 wide is going to be pretty much expected here tonight, especially on the starts and the restarts. Wagner goes second quick. How about 4 thousandths off the quick time set by Alec Coates? Pick up J.W. Miller as he is working lap number 2. Ty Richter just getting out onto the race course. Jim Brooks, Noah Janinda, Casey Knighton have not turned a lap yet. Also, Mario Miranda has not turned a lap either. Want to remind everybody, if you're tuning in here on the YouTube side of things, that we are able to accept super chats. We will at least be able to read your comment on the air this evening. Also have memberships available as well. Just a couple of bucks a month, and you can help support the National Racing Network in a pretty big way here. As Ty Richter makes his way across the line, J.W. Miller finished his run in the 5th position. Richter going to move up to 6th quick at a 24.92. I am fairly certain he did this on purpose. Mario Miranda making sure he was the only car on the racetrack, guaranteeing Flamingo Promo a bunch of TV time here. Well done, sir.
I mean, that car is half hot pink, half white. There's no chance that car wouldn't get any airtime. I mean, it just stands out almost like the TWR cars do.
Yes, stands out in a different way. It is a fantastic scheme on those race cars. The other possibility here is he could be chasing the weather a little bit. Tell you the weather conditions brought to you by our friends at the Weather Center. Offensively accurate weather for eastern Pennsylvania and New Jersey. 68-degree ambient temperature. Winds going to be out of the west at 11 miles an hour. 70-degree track temperature. About as optimum as you could be hoping for here for a Las Vegas evening.
I was going to say, at the beginning of this lap, I saw the track temperature was 71, and I'm assuming before that it was a little bit warmer. So I think we're getting a cooling track here. We're going to have some awesome racing if this track stays right about this temperature. Every lane is going to have perfect grip. These drivers are going to be able to hold it wide open, get huge runs on the guys in front. We're in for a good show tonight.
16 cars are scheduled to take the green flag, 13 of which have taken time. How about 13 hundredths of a second separating the top 11 cars in the qualifying order? Absolutely unreal how tight this field is going to be here this evening. They're going to start to get out onto the starting grid, and we'll get you the starting lineup here presented by Grid Rival. Alec Coates and Matt Wagner separated by 4 thousandths of a second will make up row number 1. Charles Teed and Mario Miranda on row number 2. Brian Voles, J.W. Miller will occupy the 3rd row, while Ty Richter and James Watson will line up in the 4th row. Watson went from pole to 8th by 64 thousandths of a second. Absolutely insane. Cullen Johnston and Zach Evans on row number 5. Row 6 will have Gary Corley and Jason Hand. Benjamin Combs, Casey Knighton scheduled to start on the 7th row. Row number 8 going to be Jim Brooks. Noah Janindo race control for this evening. So he will be a did not start, but he will show up at the bottom of the timing and scoring tower there. Just waiting for the champ to get out here. Will be interesting to see what Matt Wagner, Alec Coates are going to be able to do on the front row. See if we can sneak a word in here very quickly with Alec Coates. And Alec, congratulations on a Grid Rival pole award here. And what are you thinking as we get into the race here?
Hey, how's it going, Chris? Yeah, no, that's a shocker with how fast these guys are, but I threw a good lap down, and it's going to be a wild one. I know the field's a little short. That usually happens towards the end of some seasons, no matter what, but it's a good group of 15 guys, and we're going to put on a show for you tonight.
Yeah, good group of 15, all separated by a tenth and a half. Is there anything to expect other than 3 wide insanity around this place?
No, there's not. I believe we've been here twice with this series, and that's usually what it ends up. I try to make it pretty clear early. Let's keep things smart with such a light field. I don't want to be taking cars out, but it's kind of inevitable here. The runs are huge, and the track's wide, so there's going to be people making moves. But hopefully we can keep it smart but exciting to start it off, and then I can guarantee you the finish is going to be a show.
All right, Alec, thank you very much. We appreciate the time. Congratulations once again on the pole award here this evening. And there you heard it, Patrick. We're talking about insanity and everything else here. This one should be a pretty good show.
Gonna say it's Vegas. These drivers are gonna take a gamble. I'm expecting to see some crazy pit strategy, some crazy moves being played on the outside. Some guys I expect to fall straight back, sit back like a NASCAR pack race, watch out for the wrecks. Other guys I expect to run right up through that field and try and take the lead. So it's going to be interesting seeing everyone just running back and forth, freight training each other.
Pit window looks to be anywhere from 35 to 42 laps at a 120 lap race. It means you get to lap number 40, you're going to be able to do it on 2 stops. That will be a challenge with a ton of fuel saving going on. Field is making their way off of turn number 4, and as always, race fans, the start of the Grid Rival ESRA INDYCAR series is all yours. One lap very quickly in the books here at Las Vegas. Alec Coates going to be your race leader. Charles Teed up to the 2nd position, side by side in the battle for 3rd.
These guys are already starting to get into it. Nobody's running real hard just yet, but none of these drivers have really settled in and found their groove except those top 2.
Brian Voll's going to be able to hold on to the 3rd position. He's going to drag Ty Richter forward with him. Matt Wagner sliding back a little bit here. He's going to have Mario Miranda just on his rear wing. Fastest lap of the race set by last place running Jason Hand at a 24.85 last time by. 237 miles an hour, the top speed for Jason Hand on that lap. They are going to, I mean, this place is a mile and a half, and they're going to lap it every 25 seconds. How about 3 wide back in the pack? Looked like Jim Brooks, Casey Knighton battling for position. Matt Wagner continues to fall.
Yeah, biggest move of the race so far. Benjamin Combs up 4 positions up to 9th spot, and Matt Wagner falling back a staggering 12 positions. I wonder if this is just his strategy play, this is what he was hiding from us, or if he just got hung out to dry and caught in a bad situation.
Could this be the 2-stop strategy coming into play? They said you were going to have to save fuel from very early on in this race. Run a little bit tighter of a fuel map, or a little bit leaner of a fuel map, I guess, and try to make that fuel tank last 40 laps?
You definitely can here. If you sit in the back of the pack, there is very little air you're actually trying to cut through. And, ooh, almost contact there. But using that little bit of air, there's a lot less drag on the car, you can run a lot less fuel, and you might be able to make it 40 laps, possibly even more.
Try to execute that fuel save strategy, they're going to start it from right in the very beginning of this race.
Yeah, I mean, you have to just stick to that strategy from the start. Unless something happens, cautions shake things up, you have to be in that mindset the entire time, otherwise you're not going to make enough fuel.
This pack of cars continuing to fight as Alec Coates holding on to a 1/10 of a second lead. You can see the entire field basically on the front straightaway here at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Off of turn number 2, the progressively banked turns 1 and 2. Down the Nellis super stretch, blink, you'll miss them go by. Right back into turns 3 and 4. This could almost be disorienting to these drivers with how quickly you turn these laps here.
Yeah, it can almost make you dizzy, especially some of these drivers, if they're in a VR headset. I'd almost be worried for them, just because of how quickly everything is coming at you, how quickly you're going in these circles. I mean, even the real Indy cars and Champ Car in the early 2000s, drivers were actually passing out in the corners from the G-forces, so I wouldn't be surprised if we're getting almost a virtual effect of that right now.
Yeah, the Firestone Firehawk 600 that was originally scheduled for the Texas Motor Speedway in April of 2001 canceled after drivers were going into G-lock in the corners. They would wreck the cars and have absolutely no idea what happened. Unreal speeds there. taking a look here, maybe a little bit of trouble for Cullen Johnston. He has fallen all the way to the back of the pack after a good early start for that car. Don't see any contact. Yeah, Johnston just pulled it down to the infield. Way off the throttle. Lets the field go by. No idea what could have been going on there, but Cullen Johnston now running about 9 seconds back of the lead pack here.
Unfortunately, with losing the draft here, he's just going to keep falling further and further back. His only hope right now is that a caution were to come out. I almost wonder if there was a mechanical issue, maybe with his rig, maybe his pedals quit working, something got unplugged, maybe a cat came by and snipped a wire. Anything is really possible here in sim racing.
Yeah, we've seen Denny Hadley's kids shutting off his sim rig right in the middle of a nationally broadcast race. So it happens to the pros. It kind of happens to everybody at some point in your sim racing career. Looking now through the field here, top 5 have settled down. They are single file. The first side-by-side battle we're going to see will be Casey Knighton on the outside, Mario Miranda down to the inside. Knighton able to clear Miranda. Now going after Gary Corley. Corley slides up the racetrack just a little bit through 3 and 4. Already 15 laps into a caution-free race. That's the sound of us knocking on wood over here, by the way. 105 laps still to go here at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Big run for Charles Teague, looking down to the inside on Alec Coates. He'll complete the pass. New leader at the line, Charles Teague.
Alec Coates now trying to get a little bit of a run coming down onto the back straightaway. Let's see if he can make it happen here going into turn number 3. Looks towards the inside, doesn't see anything there. He's going to have to back out of that run.
That really is part of the deal here, is timing the run. I mean, it's you can run 2 and 3 wide here with ease, but you don't want to have the run kind of stall out right as you get to the entry to the corner. It is a perfect way to bog the field up behind you and possibly cause an incident.
Yeah, the weird thing about these Indy cars, it's almost like the stock cars racing on the super speedway. If you want to pass someone going into turn 1, you have to set it up way back in turn 3 or possibly in turn 1 on the previous lap. I mean, you really have to think about your runs, think about your moves. It's almost like playing chess here at 230 miles an hour.
Absolute insanity. Casey Knighton inside of Mario Miranda, side by side, Benjamin Combs, Zach Evans just behind them. This really goes to show, though, that even with all the speed that a guy like Mario Miranda has, you still need a little bit of help if you're going to try to make that pass on the outside.
Mario Miranda almost making contact with the car on the high side. I mean, these drives are running so close to each other right now.
Top 4 have single filed out now. Ty Richter working all over the rear wing of Brian Voles. Gary Corley up to the outside. Mario Miranda going to duck inside. There you see it. He has to back out of that run. See if we can possibly get an onboard shot here with Miranda. You'll hear how much he's having to work that throttle as we go. I mean, you can hear him. He's only at half, maybe 3/4 throttle. Oh, big move to the outside for Miranda. Going to get right back in behind Casey Knighton.
Yeah, he's searching all over this track like a dirt track race would search for grip, except he's just searching for draft, trying to get himself pulled back up to that front row.
So neat. You can hear, I mean, the driver will start to back out of the throttle and you'll hear the RPMs continue to climb as they're 3 wide down the back straightaway and into 3. That was a little dicey there. J.W. Miller getting up on the outside of Benjamin Combs. Working lap number 24, and I would imagine here, Patrick, you're probably, as a driver, starting to think about that pit stop that's going to be coming anywhere from lap 38 to lap 42, we'd say. You got to make sure you're down on the inside lane. You got to make sure you're calling it out to the other drivers so you don't get run over. It really is difficult getting one of these cars on and off of pit lane.
Oh yeah, and there's no ABS, there's no traction control in these cars. It's really easy to lock up tires, spin it coming into the pit lane, or even spin the tires coming out of the box, spin it around, or spin it when you get back onto the power going down the back stretch. I mean, it's trying to kill you every moment of a pit stop. And not even to mention that in the real world, these cars like to spontaneously catch fire as they're refueling. I mean, it no matter what, it is trying to kill you when you take a pit stop.
So lap number 26 being scored right now, 27 going up on the board. 94 to go here at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Gary Corley with the pass for the race lead. He's your race leader over J.W. Miller. Charles Teed back to third. Miller looking to the outside down the front straightaway. Teed going to hold on with Corley down to the inside. No drafting help for Miller. It's going to come from about 15 car lengths back as they get off at 2. Going to be a huge run down the back straightaway for Benjamin Combs, however. In fact, Brian Voles slides up in front to kind of take some of that air away. I would imagine about the scariest thing you can have in sim racing is you're getting ready, you're trying to come into the pit, you're doing it at 230 miles an hour, and you have a driver with a connection issue just ahead of you, and you don't really know where he's going to reappear.
Yeah, it is very, very scary. Usually, iRacing takes care of this very, very well. You can't make contact, but very occasionally it does happen where that car will reappear inside yours, and it'll just end your race right there. So it's very, very nerve-wracking when that happens.
Drivers do have one backup car at their disposal this evening. 6 sets of tires, which is way more than they would ever need at any point in this race. So tires are not going to be an issue. And we were even hearing at the end of a fuel run, still having as much as 90% of the tire left. I would imagine we're probably going to see some fuel-only stops potentially. I would guess to fill the car with fuel, it's going to take most of the time for a tire change anyways. We get a great look here from the NRN drone. Well, Ty Richter up into the outside retaining wall. Bounces it off the outside safer barrier. He's going to try to get that car down to the inside.
I don't think he can. There's no front tires left on that thing. They're just flopping around in the wind.
Get you a look at the Hot Shoe Racewear instant replay here. See what happened to Ty Richter. Little bit of a push up the racetrack. You wondered if that wasn't a netcode incident, making contact with Brian Voles.
It almost looks like Voles bumped into him, but of course, it's always that network latency in there. It could have just been the air around him just bumping him into the wall. It's very difficult to tell.
So Richter takes the tow into pit road. He will have the backup car to use here, but unfortunately, he is going to be several laps down in the process here. Even a 60-second tow is going to put you 2.5 laps down to the field. Gary Corley, still your race leader. Jason Hand has been running at the back of this field for the entire race. Just set a new fastest lap at a 24.6 seconds. It just goes to show that everybody is quick in this field and how big of an effect the draft has here.
Yeah, it's the same thing we saw with the NASCAR when they went to the group qualifying at the plate tracks. Nobody wanted to be that car in front. The cars at the back of the pack always set the fastest times. So it's the same thing we're seeing here. There's just so little air back there, so little wind resistance that you're able to just climb on through, and you can either coast with no power or hit the loud pedal and set a fast lap.
Mario Miranda working to the outside of Charles Teed through 3 and 4. Trying to get that car up to the front. Getting there before the pit stop, I would imagine, is going to be pretty critical here, because it's space that you're not losing trying to get on and off the pit road. You're not trying to gain that time in what's already can be a little bit of a hairy situation.
Even still, I don't know if I'd want to be any of these cars. I mean, if you're the lead car coming in the pits and you have guys following you, you have to worry about them rear-ending you as you're slowing down to get into the pits. Although if you're one of the guys in the back, all you're worried about is passing those cars, trying to get a jump on them. And then you got the guys in the middle that are doing both. Mario Miranda with a huge move coming down to the inside line.
I say Gary Corley threw a massive bizzle off of turn number 2. Miranda cut 4 lanes across the highway. He's down to the inside, now following in the draft to Charles Teed. Corley tucks back in line behind Miranda, side by side with Bowles and J.W. Miller. Anticipating that the pit window is open here on this next lap, because they've gotten to lap 40. That will make it a 2-stop race, as Ty Richter is getting back out onto the racetrack. Cullen Johnston going to be the first one hitting pit lane. But again, he's doing it from the far back of the pack. Here comes Mario Miranda. He's going to be hitting pit road, as is Gary Corley and Cullen Johnston. We'll follow the stops here for Miranda. 40 laps clean and green to start the season finale for the grid rival ESRA INDYCAR series. Miranda hits his marks. Car goes up on the jacks. It'll be 4 fresh Firestones and a full tank of Speedway fuel. Alec Coach James Watson also on pit road now. Lap number 42. Miranda down and away cleanly. 8.43 seconds the time of the stop. 8.05 for Gary Corley. Caution on the speedway. Yellow flag is out. Trouble for Zach Evans. Several cars getting involved in the incident here. Charles Teed is on pit road. James Watson down and away, 9.45 seconds. Alec Coates, 8.7. Charles Teed, Benjamin Combs, Casey Knighton on pit road. Knighton coming in. He has a ton of damage on the front of that number 84 machine.
It doesn't look like either of those left side tires were attached.
Zach Evans getting onto pit road here. Oh, got it down onto the apron, loops it. Oh, what a tough break for Casey Knighton. He gets clipped by Evans as he spins up the racetrack. So under the caution flag here, race leader is going to be coming down pit road. Let's go on board here with Casey Knighton.
Just absolutely nothing you can do in that scenario. I mean, everything comes at you so fast. If you would have tried to make a move up to that high side, it probably still wouldn't have been enough.
So with the caution falling right in the middle of the cycle of pit stops, Cullen Johnston, Casey Knighton, Zach Evans, Ty Richter, all going to be scored a lap down. Charles Teed will be your race leader, having stopped at lap number 42, along with Benjamin Combs. Matt Wagner up to the 3rd position after he fell back heavily initially. And trying to see here, looks like iRacing timing and scoring, getting everything sorted out here. Looks like everybody that is in front of Matt Wagner's being scored as the leader of the race. Everybody else will get the wave around, or at least they should get the wave around. As Mario Miranda coming back down pit road, as is Charles Teed. I would imagine here, Patrick, that this is an instance of try to keep as much fuel in the car as possible. Make that, you're only going to be making one more pit stop. You can make it later and then have a shorter stop late in the race.
Absolutely. Or even run in a higher fuel mixture, stay at the front of the field, guarantee yourself a spot up there, and pit with everyone else and still stay in the front of the field with the same amount of fuel going in the car. There's two different ways to look at it when you're pitting again under these pit sequences.
Our buddy Derek Love checking into the comments saying, I had the right team, wrong driver, picked to wreck entering pit lane. Oh, man. Matt Wagner, yes, your deal about us heckling James Watson, well, yeah, he's still getting it in the comments here. Interesting race that we've had so far, Patrick. Alec Coates has been very strong. We've got several cars now. They're going to be shuffled to the back here. I would have thought that Watson and Coates would have been the race leaders because they had already completed. They were in the middle, basically, of their pit stops when the caution flag came out.
Yes, however, if the leaders came by and passed them and technically put them a lap down, that negates all of that. So it's very, very tricky. We would have to watch it purely from a timing and scoring perspective to actually get the full story of what went down there.
So here we see Alec Coates coming around. He's going to pick up at the tail end of the field. And once again, Charles Teed coming into the pits here at lap number 45. Should have gotten the 1 to go signal here. I can't quite see the lights on the iRacing safety car, but wave around cars are all going to get in line, and we are going to get ready to go back to green flag racing here at lap number 46. Matt Wagner, J.W. Miller, Brian Vols, Jim Brooks, Benjamin Combs, your top 5. Brooks up 11 spots from where he started the race this evening. He will be your hard charger of the night to this point. Benjamin Combs running in the 5th position, up 8 spots. Safety car ducks into the field, is under the control of Matt Wagner. He gets on the loud pedal. Slow start in the mid-pack. Top 4 going to be single file and well spaced out as we get to turn number 1.
Now, normally you would want these huge gaps, especially if you're the leader. However, to track like this, it just makes you a sitting duck. I wouldn't be surprised if J.W. Miller passes Matt Wagner like he was standing still. Yep, and you see it right there. Oh, Matt Wagner and J.W. Miller are now fighting. J.W. Miller held the lead for about half a lap, and Matt Wagner came back and struck for it.
Top 4 all going to be single file. This could be enough of a freight train that if they got in line, they could try to break away, especially if Mario Miranda, Benjamin Combs, Alec Coates, they've really got to get themselves in line if they're going to catch up to those 4, and we're starting to see that happen off of 2. seeing a top speed number for Charles T last lap, 241 miles per hour. That's abject insanity. There is no other way to look at it. We were working lap number 50, approaching halfway here in the finale for the Grid Rival ESRA IndyCar Series. Zach Evans in the backup car up on the outside. He's going to try to fight to get one of his laps back. Cullen Johnston, Casey Knighton both being scored 1 lap down. Evans going to be up and out of the way as most of the leaders are going to be able to get past him through turns 3 and 4. Top 5 all single file, and you almost wonder now, we had the fun at the beginning. It's time to just log some laps and settle in here.
Yeah, I would say so, but every time we say that, these drivers just start going crazy. So I wouldn't say that quite just yet.
Alec Coates looking to the outside of Mario Miranda down the front straightaway. He's going to have Benjamin Combs and James Watson in tow. Watson now slides back down to the inside. Tucks in behind Mario Miranda.
I was going to say, it's almost like some of these drivers have us in their ear. And as soon as they hear us say, they're going to go single file, they all just break away and start forming an outside line.
J.W. Miller slides up the racetrack in front of Mario Miranda. Going to try to get the big shove from the 99 through 1 and 2. Maybe got more, but an actual shove there as Miller started to slide up the racetrack. Miranda ducks back down to the inside. Let's put the over-under here. Let us know in the comments. What lap do we see Mario Miranda stuff it 3 wide for the race lead? I will say this, for as aggressive as he is, Miranda is very, very smart. We saw some sparks back there right on the entry to 3, but it's going to be interesting to see when does that aggression really have to come into play.
I'll put the over-under at lap 80. I am going to take the under on that, but I am not completely sure.
Top 4 single file. Pace laps at 230 miles an hour behind him. Ty Richter almost getting up into the outside wall. Seeing Gary Corley on the pit lane here. Don't see a ton of damage to that car. I would think way too early for a final pit stop. Field's going to come by and put him 1 lap down. He's down and away, 8.93 seconds. Interesting strategy call here if you're Gary Corley. Because at this point, he's not in position to be the lucky dog. Man, Ty Richter really flirting with that outside wall. Miranda up to the outside of Jim Brooks. Oh, Brown, trouble, big wreck down the front straightaway here at Vegas. Charles Teed is involved. Several of the Watson Racing cars are involved. Alec Coates is in the middle of that. Huge wreck down the front straightaway. And I have no idea how, but Mario Miranda just drove right through that. You see the spin, Watson down to the inside. Lost it coming out of the grass. Several cars involved, drivers meeting front straightaway.
That looks like it's going to be an expensive day for Team Watson Racing. I saw maybe 3 or 4 of their cars and their color scheme absolutely destroyed there.
Here's the look at Miranda up to the outside. The car just got loose on corner exit. Benjamin Combs got the first piece of it. Taking a look on board here with Charles Teed.
It looks like he managed to save it for the most part. I mean, he did spin, but it did not look like he really hit anything. I mean, it looks like he just backed in between those two stopped cars in the front straightaway grass.
I don't think he hit anything. Now, everybody is coming down pit road here, and they're going to have the backup cars. So even for drivers like Mario Miranda, there may not be a huge loss in this. Matt Wagner going to be the first one out of the pits, 9.05 seconds. Jim Brooks, Brian Valls. Miranda's going to come out in fourth after being one of the reasons for the caution. J.W. Miller, Jason Hand, Charles Teed, James Watson, both on their way out. Looks like we're going to have 8 cars left on the lead lap here. Excuse me, 9 cars. Gary Corley back on the lead lap. Zach Evans, Alec Coates, Ty Richter, Benjamin Combs, all back on the racetrack. Cullen Johnston, the only car left sitting on pit road. Going on board with Cullen Johnston. Oh, man. You're driving through that going, I got it, I got it, I got it. Bang, right in front of you. Absolutely nowhere to go. I'm seeing some of the comments here. Joe Miranda asking about where that incident could have come from. You almost wonder if it was a weight jacker thing. I agree with the sentiment there in the comments, Patrick.
Yeah, to me, it just looks like, he was chasing a tight car, hit the weight jacker, 1 click, 2 click, and eventually you just start getting impatient with the weight jacker. Like, why is this thing not working? You hit the button a bunch of times, and all of a sudden it just spins around on you. I mean, it's a very, very easy thing to do in these cars.
Let's see if we can get a quick word in here with Mario Miranda. Mario, what happened out there?
I don't know. I don't think I was pinching him. I was following this line that on the second lane, and I kept seeing him creeping up, and I thought he would just let out the gas at some point. I think he totally knew that he was sliding up the track compared to the cars in front of him and how close he was to me, and I guess he didn't see that, and I got into it, and we got taken out, and half the field did, and it just kind of sucks. Thank God for fast repairs.
You're saying there was contact, is what you saw from inside the cockpit.
Was it netcode?
I was going to say that had to be netcode because you were completely on your own, at least on the replay that we saw. You were nobody anywhere near you. So that's interesting to hear that what you were seeing inside the cockpit was a little bit different here. We know you're getting ready to go back to Green Flag Racing, so we'll put you back in the room here. But thank you very much for joining us, Mario. And we can answer the question in the comments here. Joe Miranda asking for a schooling on the weight jacker. That's an in-cockpit adjustment that's going to let you control. It lets you shift some of the weight around inside the race car. But Patrick, it's more than just sliding a little weight left to right. It really changes the handling characteristics in a massive way.
Yeah, I believe This might be Silver Crown knowledge that's crossing in. It might be IndyCars. I believe they work two different ways in either car. But from the Silver Crown, it moves it from the left front to the right rear. And as you move that forward or back, it's either going to load the right rear or load the left front. And that, if you load the left front, it's going to make the car tight. You load the right rear, it's going to make the car loose. And it can really, really change how it drives all over the racetrack and make it very, very snappy loose or very, very push tight. So it's a very dangerous adjustment to play with.
But absolutely critical to the success of your race as well. As we go back to green flag racing here, Matt Wagner, your race leader. Everybody getting single filed out here as we are just past the halfway point. Wagner doing his best to break the draft, but here comes Jim Brooks. He's going to have a big head of steam as they get off of 4.
Oh, absolutely. And in addition to what we were talking about with the weight jacker, like I said before, it's easy to get impatient with it. You have 20 adjustments either way, loose or tight, in these Indy cars. And one click, you're not going to feel anything, but it'll make a difference. Same thing with 2 clicks. I usually go 2 clicks up or 2 clicks down. But eventually it gets to a point where the car just will not turn, and you just hit it 5 times, hit it 6 times, and all of a sudden you enter or exit the corner, and it just swaps ends on you because you made too big of an adjustment. You have to take it slow with the weight jack. That's a big key.
So the top 4 have all caught back up to each other. J.W. Miller getting caught back in there as well. Everybody that's on the lead lap is single file down the back straightaway. Alec Coates going to be the first car 1 lap down, but he's actually 2 laps down. Even with another yellow, Alec Coates only going to get 1 of those laps back. As J.W. Miller going to look to the outside of Miranda. Charles Teed now peeks out to the high side. Here goes Miranda taking that outside lane as well. Mario Miranda going to be all by his lonesome up top. Oh, big contact! At the outside wall, Charles Teed and Mario Miranda make contact. And that will end the night for Mario Miranda. And James Watson going to be in it as well. I'm not seeing too much damage on the number 39 machine. All 4 tires are there. The wings are still there. You almost wonder if that was another netcode issue. Get you a look at the Hot Shoe Racewear Instant Replay. Keep your eye on Charles Teed, that white, blue, and orange car. No, that was 2 cars going for the same tiny piece of real estate. I'm interested to see what happened to James Watson as well. There's the big contact. Oh, Watson just got it down onto the apron. Goes for a little loop. Ooh, buddy.
No contact with anything, though. That is a save in my book.
Yeah, I'm reminded, this incident very much reminds me of the Emerson Fittipaldi Al Unser Jr. wreck at the end of the 1989 Indianapolis 500. A spot of real estate too narrow for both of those race cars. What's interesting about it is it doesn't sound like Charles Teed has a ton of damage there. That's what sort of has me thinking there may have been some netcode there.
See, I'm almost thinking that T just didn't realize Mario Miranda was there and just tried to move up, make a move on the car in front, and just, unfortunately, Mario Miranda was already there or coming down trying to grab that piece of real estate, and unfortunately, they both made contact. And unfortunately, the way racing incidents usually go, the guy on the receiving end usually ends up with more damage.
Yeah. This is going to be an interesting one to follow here to see what Charles Teed's going to be able to do if he has to come down pit road. Seeing James Watson, Alec Coates both on the pit lane, as is Ty Richter and Cullen Johnston. The next scheduled round of stops would have been right around lap 80. We've now run a bunch of caution laps here. Is the potential there for James Watson to make it to the end of this race?
Absolutely. I mean, his car doesn't have any damage. He can get up there and try and fight his way back up. There's plenty of laps left.
Charles Teed stopping on lap number 70, as did Jason Hand and Gary Corley. James Watson stopping at lap number 71. Alec Coates stopping at lap 70, well, his lap 70. However, he did get the lucky dog, and he will be scored 1 lap down. For the rest of the cars, especially your top 4, if we get a 15 or so lap green flag run, there's the very real possibility they could have to stop under the green flag.
Yeah, these drivers, half of them want to see that, and the other half do not want to see that. Some of the guys in the back of the field, they want a yellow flag caution. They don't want to have to try and fight their way up on a green flag stop, possibly go another lap down. They just want everyone to pit in the pack. This way they claw their way back up to the front. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see how these drivers react to this.
James Watson, Alec Coates, Ty Richter, Cullen Johnston, all back on the pit road. So they're making another stop here. And again, this is a top off the tanks kind of deal. You would be talking about going 46 laps, I guess, 47 laps. It's a stretch, but I think with the right fuel saving measures, and especially a guy like James Watson, I would keep your eye out here. Don't expect him to charge forward. I'll say it that way.
Yeah, he's going to save everything he has and try and make it to the end of this race.
And at this point, 1 caution flag may put them enough to the good. It's just a matter of what the timing of that caution flag is we're going to see the iRacing safety car duck in, and we haven't done one of these in a while, folks. They come around to pick up the green flag. Y'all at home, we give you a chance to crank it up. Down to 45 laps to go here at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Matt Wagner, your new series champion, is also your race leader. Jim Brooks, Brian Voles complete the podium right now. 3 wide, Gary Corley looking outside of Charles Teed into 3. This is one of those situations at a point in the race, Patrick, where you don't want to be going crazy because you know that there's still a pit stop left, potentially for everybody. And at the same time, it's getting late enough in the race that you don't want to be back there in the pack should another incident happen.
Yeah, it's a very tough time to be a driver right now because half of your brain is saying, there's only 40 laps to go. We got to get up to the front. We got to run the rest of this race at the front. And the other half of you is saying, no, I still got to make a pit stop. I want to make it to that checkered flag without making a third pit stop. So it's very, very difficult to pick where you want to be on this racetrack right now.
Everybody on the track has made at least 2 stops. James Watson has made 5. Also 5 pit stops for Charles Teed. Teed looking to the outside of Brian Voles down the back straightaway. He's going to have Ty Richter right up under his rear wing. Ty Richter battling to the outside of Gary Corley. That fight will continue down the back straightaway. Charles Teed not making up any ground on Brian Voles, but he's not really losing any space either. Big draft. Oh man, they're almost making contact again into one. Ty Richter being scored 2 laps down, trying to race his way back to being 1 lap down. Great look overhead from the NRN drone. Richter and Corley still side by side. Teed getting a little bit of a shove. He's going to look to the outside of Voles into 3. Here comes Richter down to the inside of Teed. What a run for J.W. Miller down the front straightaway. Holy cow, he just gained 8 car lengths on Gary Corley.
I was going to say, he came out of nowhere, and now he's fighting in that pack that's fighting for the lead. Still another huge run. He's right up to Charles Teed's rear bumper, gearbox.
Teed looking to the outside of Ty Richter down the back straightaway. Richter gets a huge run on Brian Voles. 1 car at a time. He's picking spots off.
He's really fighting, trying to get back on that lead lap, try and claw his way around, hope for 2 cautions, pass Alec Coates, get that lucky dog, get back in the lead lap, and hopefully come home with a good finish tonight. It's going to take a lot of work, a lot of luck, but this is Vegas, baby.
The next yellow would put Alec Coates back on the lead lap as the lucky dog. So if Richter's able to make a lap up, then he's only got to do it 1 more time again. Really taking the fight to Brian Voles on the outside. That number 33 machine, very, very strong here this evening. Great point made in our ear here by producer Connor Baldwin. If there's a yellow, the leaders are going to have to pit. That's going to put Ty Richter back to being 1 lap down. He would get the wave around. He's really only 1 caution flag away at this point. The big question, though, is when are the leaders going to make that final pit stop? Working lap number 88. 33 to go here at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Richter now going to look to the outside of Jim Brooks through 3 and 4. Brooks going to have to hold that car down to the inside. He's getting a big run on race leader Matt Wagner, but he's been content to ride in line there. Now Richter looks inside. Oh man, he almost made contact with Jim Brooks off the corner. Gary Corley stuck on the outside lane above Brian Vols. He'll be able to slot back in line. Cullen Johnston right in the middle of that group, separating 5th place Corley from 6th place J.W. Miller. As Richter once again looking to the outside of Jim Brooks off a 4.
Jason Hand entering the pits. I wonder, he can make it to the end from here. I wonder if he's trying to undercut the rest of the field and just trying to see if he can
That's
pick up
really
the
where
spot
this
that way.
where this question comes into play. James Watson is in absolute fuel saving mode here. I'm seeing a gap of only about, he's about a half second back of J.W. Miller right now. But Watson's sitting there in conservation mode. If he has to stop, Jason Hand could make the undercut strategy work here. J.W. Miller making his way down pit road for what will be his final pit stop of the evening. And this is where we've seen the issues. Down to 28 laps to go here at Las Vegas. You'll see Miller's pit stop time there at the bottom of your screen. When does Matt Wagner have to duck off here? There's a good look at your stint lengths. Wagner, Brooks, Vols, and Miller all with 30-plus lap stints. Tells me we're looking at another 10 laps or so before Teed has to come in. That's going to get you to lap 105, and every lap they add to the stint is just another lap that the cars that stopped at lap 70 are going to be able to go. If these guys get to... Trying to spitball the math here. If they get to lap 100, this is going to be very, very close on fuel for Charles Teed, Gary Corley, James Watson, and Alec Coates.
Teed is running that car very, very hard. I mean, he's sitting back now, but he was running very hard. I don't know if he'll be able to make it. James Watson, Alec Coates, they've both been kind of just chilling back there, hanging out, saving fuel. I think those two are going to be the ones that can make it to the end.
It's... You can hear how far off the throttle James Watson is here.
Yeah, you can see he's cruising around in 6th gear. Now, in these Indy cars, you set the car up to be running in 5th gear all the time, and 6th gear is just a little bit taller for that extra bit of overdrive. So, him running in 6th the whole way around here tells me he is really trying to save fuel every ounce he can get.
And backing way out of the throttle as well. And the other part of this here, Patrick, is he could be running a different fuel map as well. That he could go as low as fuel map, I guess, 4 before you start getting really too lean into more of like caution modes. But if you're down there running at half throttle in map 4, you're saving a ton of fuel around this place.
Yeah, here on these ovals, I've noticed you get about 1.5 miles to a gallon to maybe 2 miles a gallon. Saving that much fuel, you might be able to get 3 miles per gallon, which doesn't sound like a lot in street car terms, but that is almost double the fuel economy that some of these other cars are getting. So he might be able to go 50, 60 laps if he really, really, really saves and runs way at the back of the pack. I don't think he's getting that kind of mileage right now, but it's definitely going to be enough to make him get to the end. So if everyone else has to pit, I expect to see James Watson be your leader.
Battle still about 1/4 second inside your top 5. And Ty Richter is right there. He could organically put himself back on the lead lap. Richter is one of those cars that stopped at lap 70, but his only hope of a great finish is really pushing that car hard. So I would think we're going to have to see him make a pit stop. Now we're out to lap 103, and we said if they got to lap 110, it could be lights out for Matt Wagner, Jim Brooks, Brian Valls. Are they really hoping for a caution flag at this point?
No, none of these drivers, except maybe Ty Richter, Alec Coates, nobody else really wants a caution flag anymore. They just want to run this race to the end. They're going to start racing hard. The fuel strategy is coming into play. This race is playing out right now, and none of these drivers want to see that changed.
So Charles Teed, now your race leader. There you see we have the track map up so you can get an idea of where everybody is on the racetrack. Everybody that stopped at lap number 60 is in. Jim Brooks in the pit lane now, getting his service completed, down and away 8.85 seconds. That puts Charles Teed, Gary Corley, and James Watson at the head of the field. The difference here is they didn't get to lap 110. So without some crazy fuel saving, I don't think these guys can make the finish either.
It is Vegas. It is a gamble. But yeah, it's going to be very, very tight for some of these guys.
Seeing the Weather Center checking into the comments. This is not a series that Barb runs in. Gary Corley, big spin down to the inside. Loops it through the infield. Whoa, buddy. What a fantastic save by Gary Corley.
Unfortunately, unless the black flags do get cleared, that is going to end up in a double black flag for Gary Corley. Still an awesome save. The car is not damaged. However, iRacing will score that as speeding in the pits and an unsafe pit entry. So that'll either have to get taken care of, or you're going to see him come down pit lane here shortly.
I also came to see someone get Palmerton, they say. You almost saw it there. You check the replay out, though. We had a couple of those earlier here tonight. The die's been cast at this point, though. Now it's a matter of, are you going to hit your number, or are you going to throw the 7? That was a whole lot of craps puns in one thing there. Zach Evans making his way down the pit road. Taking a look at current speeds of these cars. Charles Teed at 213, James Watson at 213. Gary Corley still running in the 3rd position. Even after the incident, he's up over 215 at the moment.
So you can tell just how much Charles Teed and James Watson are really saving fuel. Now, Charles Teed last pit stops on lap 70. James Watson was lap 72. So these drivers, my money is on James, but Charles Teed, by my math, might just have enough to make it to the end. He does need to stay in Cullen's draft here, though. Otherwise, that dirty air or that clean air is just going to slow him down.
Yeah, this one's going to be tight to see if either of these drivers can make it to the end of the race. Gary Corley is in the pits now, so we'll see if there was a penalty that was issued there. James Watson taking a look to the outside of Charles Teed. Trouble on the racetrack for Ty Richter. Trying to get on the pit road. And a little half spin, little Kona side. Excuse me, that was getting off of pit road. Charles Teed is in the pits. Charles Teed could not make the number. The question becomes now, can James Watson make the number?
James
Matt Wagner
Watson
is on the lead lap, and you're seeing seconds tick off the gap for James Watson.
James Watson needs to communicate with Alec Coates and get behind him, sit in his draft, and just make these next 4 laps count. That seems exactly what's going on here. Oh man, this is when the checks start flying. He's gonna bribe Alec Coates now, trying to get him to slow back down, and it seems like what's going on here. James Watson only sitting at 206 miles an hour. He's about 30 miles an hour off the pace right now, just trying to save as much fuel as possible.
Full Alexander Rossi. He is in clutch and coast mode.
You can see what separates James Watson from Matt Wagner is about 3/4 of this track. It's a big distance to make. However, going 30 miles an hour faster, it might get close towards the end here. You can see that gap has already been shrunken down. They're almost at halfway of a racetrack apart.
Top speed last time around for James Watson, 217 miles an hour. As we're down to 2 laps to go, and the number is 17 seconds and closing. Matt Wagner's top speed last time by, 234 miles per hour. Oh, and he's going to have to commit. Oh, and he spins it coming into pit road. Heartbreak for James Watson. If that car's out of fuel, he may not be able to get it. No, he can't.
Oh.
He can't even get it to the box. Off at turn 4, white flag will fly this time by for Matt Wagner. And the lead over Jim Brooks is 3.5 seconds. Through turns 3 and 4 for the final time, a championship season comes to a close in victory lane. Matt Wagner wins at Las Vegas. Jim Brooks comes home in second. J.W. Miller, how about that finish? Oh, buddy. J.W. Miller, Brian Voles by 0.03 of a second. Charles Teed, 5th. Jason Hand, 6th. Gary Corley, Alec Coates, Zach Evans, and James Watson will be your top 10.
Oh, man. I was really pulling for James. I thought he had something and just ended up sputtering him with 1 lap to go. Oh, man. What a heartbreaker.
That absolute gut check for James Watson. Tough break there, and as we get ready for the victory lane celebrations here, let's show you the race results. Also try to get you a replay of that finish between J.W. Miller and Brian Voles. That one was fantastic. Matt Wagner, your winner by 3.7 seconds over Jim Brooks. J.W. Miller, Brian Voles, Charles Teed, your top 5. Jason Hand, Gary Corley, Alec Coates, James Watson, Zach Evans, the top 10. Ty Richter, Cullen Johnston, Mario Miranda, Casey Knighton, and Benjamin Combs will round out your field here this evening. Here is the replay of that final lap. Vols and J.W. Miller off of turn number 4. Miller down to the inside. Vols runs the outside. How about half a car length? And then Miller spins it down to the inside. Nice job not widening the car up before the pictures there in Victory Lane. And with that, let's get our drivers in here ready to go for the interviews. We will start with third place finisher here this evening, J.W. Miller. I tell you what here, J.W., good run for you tonight in that number 6 machine, and tell us how the evening went for you.
Well, it was a pretty eventful race for me. Dodged a few wrecks, saved some fuel for a while there, and just saved it till the end.
What was the battle like coming to the finish there with Brian Vols? That finish was absolutely epic between you two.
Yeah, that was really exciting. I knew that they were letting us use the apron there for the final lap, so I figured I'd go down there and had the weight checker up a little bit. So,
well, it was a
ended up
fantastic
spinning around,
run
but
tonight and a heck of a way to finish out the season. So congratulations on a podium to close things out. And who would you like to thank?
yeah, I'd like to thank Dark Horse Racing for this season. Me, Casey Knighton, and Julian Altina, which unfortunately didn't make it tonight, but those guys have been great teammates, and we're going to be joining Julian again next season, so don't have any news on that just yet. But
All right, JW. Well, thank you very much. Congratulations once again, and looking forward to talking to you once we get back rolling here next season. Pick up our runner-up finisher here tonight. Let's pick up Mr. Jim Brooks, our runner-up finisher here this evening. That Area 51 car was pretty spectacular tonight, but this race was sort of all over the place. Tell us about it from your perspective.
Yeah, it was a little bit unusual there. I started out map 3, going to go ahead and try to get the 2-stopper in, and hopefully a few people didn't. But then once cautions came out, it kind of threw that out the window. But yeah, real hard to pass outside. So I was just content to run around behind whoever I was there at the end, or the last run, and then pit and hope I could catch Matt. But he burned me and got a great pit stop, so he was gone.
Yeah, it seemed like this race was going to be very dependent on who could get the big run to the outside. What are your thoughts on how hard you had Ty Richter running you, trying to get his laps back organically? More of just a frustration than anything else, or what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, he was pushing. So at some point he was going to crash me. I mean, quite twice he bumped into the back of me and got me a little loose. So it's like I just let him go outside and let him bother Matt. But then the pit stops came, so that sort of took care of that.
Well, it was a good run for you here to close out the season. Congratulations on a very nice year here in the Grid Rival ESRA INDYCAR Series. Who would you like to thank?
Thank you guys again, and Alec and Colin. They did a great series, and congratulate Matt on the race win and the championship, and a shout out to Area 51, where both of us rate us also.
All right, bud. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate it, and let's get your race winner and season champion, Matt Wagner, back into the booth with us. We talked with you earlier. You were hoping James Watson would win. Were you watching the relative shrink by seconds a lap there late in the race?
Yeah, I was. I think I was like kind of cheering him on. Actually, I was kind of hoping he would make it on fuel, and that wasn't the case. It was quite sad, actually. I was really pulling for him.
Yeah, and overall, the race went about as good as you could have hoped here. What was the thought process behind dropping to the back early? Was that just looking to stay out of any potential mess? Or, I mean, it seemed like you threw the anchor out early in this race, and the car had a ton of speed in it.
That was the plan from the get-go. My plan was to save a bunch of laps on fuel, because if you're out leading by yourself, you're going to burn more fuel than anybody else. So I was trying to prepare myself for that in case I did get in the lead. The cautions fell my way. I think it was lap 60, and then I stayed out, and that kind of set the bar when I needed to pit.
Well, you had a fantastic run tonight, a great drive to steal a win there late in this one, and once again, you're going to head into the season. Are you going to carry the number 1 next year as the defending champion of the series?
That has yet to be determined. I love my number 11. I'm a huge Denny Hamlin fan. I'm probably gonna stick with my 11.
All right, bud. Well, congratulations on the win tonight here, and let's make sure we get all the sponsor plugs and thank yous taken care of here as well.
First and foremost, I can thank Grid Rival for the sponsor of the ESRA INDYCAR series, putting on a fantastic season for everybody here. HyperX, Area 51, LMC Gear, Troy Lee Designs, and I especially like to thank the Dark Horse Racing team for Charles and them for helping me, pulling me through and saying, "You got this," little pats on the back, and I really do appreciate it. This win puts me a stamp into next year.
Yes, sir, it does. That was a fantastic drive tonight and a great championship this year. So congratulations once again.
Thank you, Chris. Patrick, how you doing? How you doing, buddy? You've been awfully quiet down there.
Oh, I'm doing all right. I usually don't talk in the interviews. I'm not very good at them, so.
Oh, come on now.
I usually leave that to Chris to do.
Come on, brother. I do. One thing to do, Patrick. I do appreciate the comments. I've been watching the broadcast. I do appreciate your comments about me, but throughout the whole season. So,
not a problem, sir.
So there you go, Matt Wagner, your champion, and with that, we are going to wrap up and conclude 2021 Season 2 for the Grid Rival ESRA IndyCar Series. That one lap of fuel may have cost James Watson second in the points standings. He was 35 points back entering tonight, with Mario Miranda finishing in 13th. A win could have put Watson into second in points overall. Looks like the top 3 will stay the same. There will be some changes back from that. Sebastian Kinder was not entered in tonight's race. Ty Richter, Alec Coates, both finishing laps down. And Zach Rinker was not in the race tonight either. So we'll get the updates and all that stuff posted to our social channels here, but have to say a huge thank you to the entire management team here of the ESRA IndyCar series. Thank you very much for entrusting your series to us here at the National Racing Network. We are looking forward to hopefully renewing for a second season to come here in just a few weeks' time. Keep your eye out for some announcements on that in the near future. And with that, time to wrap things up here. Patrick, that race was everything we could have hoped for and more.
Oh yeah, it had the 4 wide, or I don't think we saw any 4 wide. Definitely did see 3 wide. Had the fuel strategy, had the crazy moves on the restarts, had everything. My final comment for the race is our series champion Matt Wagner. He did not need to call me out like that.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, well, you know what? You take your lumps sometimes here. We give enough hell to James Watson and some of the other guys in the series here, so we will gladly dish it when given to us as well.
Oh,
with that, we're gonna. With that, we'll wrap things up here from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Don't go anywhere. Coming up next, Worldwide Technology Raceway, I believe. At least I think that's what's on the schedule for the Indy Pro 2000 official series coming up at 10:15 in the East. Tomorrow night, real world racing action from Linda's Speedway, Jonestown, Pennsylvania. And on Sunday night, the penultimate round of the High Slide Cup Series playoffs. Don't want to miss any of that action coming up. Already getting ready to move into week 11 here very shortly. 2021 season 3 for the iRacing calendar rapidly drawing to a close. But for Patrick Byrne, producer and camera design extraordinaire, Mr. Connor Baldwin, my name is Chris Graham. It has been a pleasure to have you hanging out with us. We'll see you in about 45 minutes for the Indy Pro 2000 series. Talk to you then, everybody.